Pokémon Green has been more than just a game for me, it has been a milestone. Ever since I picked up my first Japanese textbook, I've dreamed of the day I could wander through Kanto in the language it was first written. Not a translation, not an adaptation, but the raw, original words, jokes and ideas the creators put back in 1996. This wasn't just about beating the game, it was about uncovering the layers between cultures. We have seen how localization can soften themes, erase darker moments or completely reinvent Pokemon's name. We've spotted mistranslations, found cultural references that never made it overseas, and discovered that sometimes a single word can change the meaning entirely.
Wow, what does that mean?
It's been a long road, from Pallet Town, through ghost-filled towers to dangerous hideouts, to uncovering the history, language, and intent behind the world's most famous monster-catching adventure. And now, here we are, the final chapter. In this episode, we'll journey through a hard-fought victory over Sabrina and finally challenge the Elite Four. One last adventure, one last comparison. Let's begin. We are starting after Saffron City and getting the Gold Badge, or Marsh Badge in English. We need to use Serve we got from the Safari Zen to get down to Cinnabar Island for the 7th badge. To do this, we need to go where it all started, Pallet Town. It has been a long time since we got to Pallet Town, and where we learnt a few words from Professor Oak, including Abunai, meaning dangerous. Ski, our protagonist, uses Surf to get down towards Cinnabar Island. Along the way we catch a number of different Pokemon, the first one being Tentacle. Tentacle in Japanese is Me no Kuragi, Me meaning eye, no the possessive particle of in Japanese, and Kurage, which is fish. So, jellyfish of the eye, or eyed jellyfish. This refers to the Pokemon's large, glowing red eyes, which dominates its design. We arrive in Cinnabar Island, and the Japanese name is Gurenjima. Guren means crimson lotus, connecting to the island's colour scheme and deeper symbolism of passion and destruction. Cinnabar Island has an interesting history, with a lot of strange things going on. There's a strong science theme here, and even a mysterious mansion where Pokemon research took place.
Hello!
But something feels off. It wasn't always like this. And if we talk to the NPCs on Cinnabar Island, some of their comments hint at the hidden past. The guys from Gurenjima have been living there since before the research centre was built, and they're weird. The man next to her says, it seems that scientists sometimes visit the Pokemon mansion for research purposes. In Japanese you see the word kenkyūjō and kenkyu, which means research lab, research, jo being the suffix for the place.
Meanwhile,
inside the mansion we stumble across diary entries that slowly piece together one of the most famous Pokemon's legends. The first one in Japanese reads, Diary, July the 5th. A new species of Pokemon discovered in the depths of the jungle in South America. The English text is almost the same. As we explore further, more diaries fill the story. For example, Diary, February the 6th, Mew gave birth. We have decided to call this newborn Mewtwo. Again, in English it's close. But what really stands out is in the final entry. In Japanese it reads, Diary, September the 1st. Pokemon Mewtwo is too strong. I can't control it. The English is a lot different. In English it says Diary, September the 1st. Mewtwo is far too powerful. We have failed to curb its vicious tendencies. The meaning is similar, but the tone is very different. The Japanese is personal, emotional, one desperate scientist admitting failure. For example, in Japanese use the personal pronoun watashi, meaning I. Meanwhile, the English shifts the voice to we, turning it into a team project, almost foreshadowing how the first Pokemon movie framed Mewtwo's creation in a corporate experiment rather than a lone obsession. It's a subtle change, but completely alters the story's tone, from a single person haunted by their creation, to a faceless group whose ambitions spiraled out of control.
Wow.
After piecing this together, we grab the key to the fire gym and finally leave the mansion. Before we move on, I will list some of the Pokemon we did catch whilst in the Pokemon mansion. First we have Grimer. Beto Beto which is onomatopoeic for something sticky or slimy. The name evokes a gross, slimy mess, much more than the English grimer, but similar meanings.
No, don't like that.
Then we have wheezing, which is mata dogasu. Mata meaning again or another, and dogasu, which means poison gas, literally meaning another poison gas or more gas. Implies a more dangerous, evolved form of coughing, which is dogasu. Like I just said, dogasu means poison gas. Then we have muck, which is beto beton. From beto beto means sticky or slimy, like grimer, but the ton suffix implies heaviness or density, like a big sludge blob. Literally means the big sticky one, or super slime.
No, don't like that.
The Cinnabar gym leader in Japanese is named Katura, named after the Katsura tree, a real Japanese tree that is associated with autumn, fire colour leaves, and sometimes linked to old age or wisdom. The name sounds like Katsura, a word for wig, likely a pun referencing his bald head and flamboyant appearance. The gym has puzzles, with wrong answers leading to Pokémon battles. When we get to the gym leader, he speaks in a Japanese dialect. For example, he says, "I am a fiery man. My Pokémon are all high quality ones that burn everything with fire. Woo! Are you ready to heal your burns?" In English, he says something very similar. Although quite similar, there is small nuance in the writing. For example, in Japanese it uses the word washi rather than watashi we previously mentioned for I. Washi is used in older men historically, associated in dialects, for example in the Hiroshima prefecture. This evokes wise and actually makes sense given the link to the puzzles and general knowledge. A bit like your granddad when they seem to get all the general knowledge questions right when watching game shows. Most interestingly, there is a complete dialogue change when it comes to beating a gym leader. In English, Blaine would say, "Fire Blast is the ultimate fire technique, don't waste it on water Pokemon," which is an odd thing to say. Can't teach the water Pokemon anyway. Maybe Gyarados? In the Japanese version, he says, "Everybody calls this technique Daimonji Yaki," but that's a mistake. In Kyoto, where it originates, it's called Daimonji or Okibito. This is interesting as he refers to Kyoto and possibly the dialect. I looked a bit into this. The word Daimonji refers to the giant big character turned into the mountainside in Kyoto during the Gozan no Okiburi festival. It's one of the most famous summer traditions in Japan, where huge bonfires in the shape of kanji are lit on the mountains and send off spirits of the dead after Obon. The Daimoji Yaki, yaki means burning or roasting. Some people colloquially but incorrectly call the event Daimoji Yaki, like the Daimoji burning. Locals in Kyoto dislike that phrasing because of the proper terms like Daimonji or Obonji. Okuribi literally means send off fire, tying directly to Obon, spirits return to the afterlife. So why is this important? Blaine specialises in fire-type Pokemon and his signature TM is the Japanese version is Daimoji, which we know as Fire Blast. In Japanese, Fire Blast is literally named after this Kyoto bonfire tradition. The move shape, the flame from the kanji big, directly references the festival's burning, big character. Blaine, as a fire specialist, is giving you a mini cultural lecture. People outside Kyoto call the move by the wrong name, which is Daimoji Yaki, but in Kyoto, the true home of this tradition, it's properly called Daimoji or Okuribi. So why was this cut in English? Well, it's quite simple. This whole exchange makes no sense to a Western audience, unfamiliar with Kyoto's bonfire festival. So in English, Blaine just says something generic about Fire Blast instead. If we really want to push this theory, the second generation Pokemon is set in the Kansai region, or Kyoto. This is a subtle link to the existence of not just Kyoto, but Kanto in the earlier game. The English version of Pokemon definitely avoids saying anything in real life or real place, so perhaps this is another interesting differences between the localization.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
After uncovering the secrets of the Pokemon Mansion and defeating Blaine in the fiery Cinnabar gym, we are almost at an end, but there's still one more gym left, and that's at Viridian City. The very first city we passed through all those hours ago. Only this time, things are different. The gym has reopened, and waiting inside isn't just another leader, it is Giovanni, the boss of Team Rocket. After going through all the trainers at the gym, we reach Giovanni. His name in Japanese is Sakaki, named after the Sakaki tree, a sacred evergreen used in Shinto rituals symbolizing purity and divine authority. This creates an ironic contrast. Sakaki, the leader of a criminal organization, Team Rocket, yet bears a name linked to spirituality and reverence. In Japanese, Giovanni says, "Ha ha ha, this is my hideout. I'll regroup in this gym until the day Team Rocket is resurrected. However, there's no point in waiting if you find me. I'm not holding back this time, so, right now, once more, see the skills of the strongest Pokémon." Sakaki. In the English version of Red and Blue, it is exactly the same. Once Ski beats him, he says in Japanese, "Losing like this, it would have been a terrible example for my subordinates. Team Rocket will be disbanded as of today. I intend to start my Pokemon training all over again. Someday. See you again. Farewell." In English, it said, "Having lost, I cannot face my underlings. Team Rocket is finished forever. I will dedicate my life to the study of Pokemon. Let us meet again someday. Farewell." It is very similar in English, except in the Japanese version, he does not state that he will dedicate his life to the study of Pokemon, and merely starting his Pokemon training again. Interesting. Also, the word sayonara is used. In Japanese it means goodbye, but actually has the nuance, goodbye for a very long time. This is strong here. I've been stating that when we first met Giovanni, he was speaking polite, using words like watashi, and being respectful in Japanese. After various encounters with him, this changes into frustration, as seen by the words ore, which is a rude way of saying I, and zo, an assertive and aggressive ending particle. When we finally beat him, he returns back to saying watashi, rather than ore. This is not captured in the same way in English, and only can come across in the Japanese version. With Giovanni beaten, and the final badge in hand, we're technically ready for the Elite Four.
And I'm totally excited by it.
Before we get through Victory Road, however, we run into Red once more.
Go away! I never want to see you again!
Easy work. As we go towards Victory Road and show all of our badges, we catch a few more rare Pokemon. This cave has always been the ultimate test of strength and patience, forcing trainers to prove they're ready for the Pokémon League. In Pokémon Green, the design is identical to Red and Blue, but that doesn't make it any less brutal. Let's head inside and see what waits for us. First of all, we catch a Ditto, which in Japanese is Metamon. Meta comes from metamorphosis, and mon short for monster. So Metamon is transforming monster, perfectly reflecting Ditto's ability to copy the appearance and moves of any Pokemon using Transform. We also catch Machoke, which in Japanese is Goriki. Go meaning strong or hard, and Riki meaning power or strength. So Goriki roughly means stronger power or muscle strength, reflecting Machoke's bulky, body-like appearance and superhuman physical abilities. We then get to Graveler, which in Japanese is Goron. Goron comes from the onomatopoeic sound goro goro, which in Japanese mimics the sound of something rolling or rumbling, like a boulder tumbling down a hill. It reflects Graveler's rocky appearance and its tendency to roll downhill or along tough terrain. We then catch a Venomoth, which in Japanese is Morufon. Morufon is likely derived from Mosu, which is moth, and fon, possibly meaning butterfly. So Morufon evokes an elegant or mysterious moth-like creature fitting Venomoth's appearance and psychic poisonous aura. We come across the legendary bird, Moltres, but in Japanese it is Faiya. Faiya comes directly from the English word fire, written in katakana. It emphasises Moltres' fire-type nature and fiery appearance, especially its wings of flame. The final Pokemon we catch in Victory Road is Marowak, or Gara Gara. Gara Gara is an onomatopoeic word in Japanese that mimics the clattering or rattling sound of bones, like rattle rattle. It reflects both Marowak's use of the bone club and its skeletal, bone-themed appearance. With Victory Road behind us, the path leads straight to the Indigo Plateau, the final challenge of the game. In Japanese, the Elite Four are called the Shiten no, literally 4 heavenly kings, a term rooted in Buddhist tradition for powerful guardian deities. The English localization shifts this to Elite Four, keeping the idea of strength but dropping the cultural nuance. Either way, these are the strongest trainers in Kanto, and they're the last barrier between us and the title of champion.
You were the champion.
First we come across Lorelei, or in Japanese, Kanna. The Japanese and English texts are very similar, where Lorelei uses ice Pokemon. Easy. We then come across Bruno, or in Japanese, Sippa. In Japanese, Bruno uses ore more, which again means I in a more masculine way. Probably links to the way Bruno is associated with weight training and the masculine appearance.
Just doing my workout. Tuesday's arms and back.
Agatha in Japanese is Kikuko. Funny enough, in English, the translation is I am Agatha of the Elite Four. Oak's taken a lot of interest into you. That old duff was once tough and handsome, but that was decades ago. Now he just wants to fiddle with his Pokédex. He's wrong. Pokemon are for fighting. Ski, I'll show you how a real trainer fights. In Japanese, there is no word duff, and that was added into the English. A stronger sentiment towards Ski. Finally, we have Lance, which in Japanese, his name is Wataru. The English and Japanese is pretty much exactly the same, where he boasts about his dragon-type Pokemon.
I'm a very intelligent person.
We finally get past the final trainer of the Elite Four, before seeing our favourite childhood friend, once again, Red. The English and Japanese are very similar, but it's still the sweetest victory for beating Red one last time and watching him cry. You've now won the Pokemon League. Ski is now the champion. There is only one last thing to do. Celadon Cave is where we find the legendary Mewtwo. And we also catch some of the most powerful Pokemon in the whole game. We start off with Kadabra, which in Japanese is Yungera. The name is thought to come from Uri Geller, a famous Israeli-British magician and self-proclaimed psychic who was essentially popular in Japan during the 1970s and 80s. He was known for spoon-bending tricks, which is why Kadabra is always depicted holding a spoon. You also catch Dodrio. Dodorio is the Japanese word, and it's a blend of dodo, the dodo, the extinct bird, and trio, meaning three, which matches with its heads. The pre-evolution, Dudo, is just dodo in Japanese. We then catch Golbat, which in Japanese is Gorubato, likely from Goru, goal, and Bato, bat. Keeps the bat reference, but with the Goru adds a rough, strong image. We then catch Rhydon, which in Japanese is Saidon. The Sai comes from the rhinoceros, and Don, meaning boom, or impact. This suggests that both rhinoceros and the dinosaur-like power, the Japanese name makes the prehistoric impact vibe clearer than the English Rhydon. We also catch Wigglytuff, which in Japanese is Pukurin, from puku-puku, which is onomatopoeic for puffing up, swelling and ballooning in Japanese, and the rin, round sound suffix often used in naming, which is much more descriptive than Wigglytuff, since it directly captures the balloon-like puffed up image in Japanese. Raichu in Japanese comes from Rai, thunder, and Chu, the sound of a mouse squeak. It's exactly the same in Japanese. The final Pokemon we catch in this whole series is the legendary Mewtwo, which in Japanese is exactly the same, Mewtwo, or Mewtwo. Very straightforward, literally Mew number 2. The Japanese emphasises the experimental numbering, which ties into the diary entries in the Pokemon Mansion. We have come to the end of the series. The end! It's been an amazing journey with loads of growth. I hope you all enjoyed this series and even picked up a few Japanese words along the way. I have learnt so much in my research into this game, even after 30 years since it came out. We will see you in the next video. Thanks for all of those that have followed, and please like and subscribe for more. We are just getting started.